Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimbale in Abuja. Let's begin by letting you know what the president has done to the FCT. President Tinubu has approved the establishment of the Civil Service Commission in the FCT administration and has removed the Federal Capital Territory administration from the Treasury Single Account TSA, effectively allowing the FCTA to have a bit more control over its finances. The Minister of the FCT, Mr. Nyesom Wike, addressed a press conference earlier today in Abuja. He said that the president has also approved the mandate secretariat for women affairs.
The money has been given to us. Projects left, right, and center going on. That's the only way we can survive it. And Mr. President graciously agreed with us and approved that we should pull out from the single treasury account. So that you see from next year, it will be project upon project in the FCT. What you saw in Port Harcourt will be exporting. What you see in Abuja will be something else.
Nyesom Wike, FCT Minister. Tonight, our attention will be on federal roads, works, infrastructure in Nigeria. And the Minister of Works will be joining me on the program tonight, former Governor of Ebonyi State, Dave Umahi. A lot of questions. They were talking about a supersonic highway that will allow you to travel from Lagos to Abuja in 4 hours. How would that happen? They're talking about the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, which should have been delivered. What is wrong? Why the delay? What is going on the second Niger bridge? What are the issues delaying the other portion of it? We'll be getting more answers on the several works and road projects across the country. What is the agenda of the Bola Tinubu government? Dave Umahi will be telling us much more about this on the program tonight. But let's serve you with a political roundup.
And ahead of the November 11 governorship election, Governor Yahaya Bello of Kogi State is asking residents of the state to shun acts of violence by engaging in issue-based campaigns. Addressing stakeholders in Lokoja, Governor Bello says the state will ensure adequate security before, during and after the elections, as he warns supporters that the state will deal with anyone who perpetrates violence in the elections.
This election, we are winning. We are winning hands down. Don't engage in violence.
The former chairman, Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party, Senator Walid Jibrin, is cautioning politicians in Nasarawa State against playing politics with religion and other divisive tactics to try and pit the people against one another. Speaking at a news conference in Abuja, the PDP chieftain warns politicians who are criticizing the judgment of the governorship tribunal and trying to give religious interpretation to it to desist from such actions, as it is capable of destroying the judiciary and ignite trouble to the state.
The third attempt to divide the judiciary on religious lines will destroy the only institution that remains the last hope of the common people.
The Labour Party group, led by Lamidi Apapa, is calling on the presidential candidate of the party, Mr. Peter Obi, to clear the air about the alleged discrepancies in some of the certificates he presented to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. The group's National Publicity Secretary, Mr. Yomi Arabambi, made the demand at a media briefing in Abuja. He asked that Mr. Obi should come clean before asking President Bola Tinubu to disclose his identity to Nigerians.
Who is Peter Owubuasi Obi? The name, he said, it was given to him by his parents. 2, who is Obi Gregory Owubuasi on the WAEC 1970 certificate?
And the former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Yakubu Dogara, has attributed Nigeria's lack of development to poor leadership that the country has suffered over the years. Mr. Dogara is one of the guest speakers at the Young Leaders Clinic, a leadership program of the University of Abuja and the Tertiary Education Fund, aimed at grooming young people for leadership positions.
There's no country that will be rotten, or no fish, for instance, that will be rotten, and then the head of the fish is fresh. It's impossible. So once you see bad governance, know that it is bad leadership.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us on the program. Anyone who is saddled with a work ministry responsibility in the federal cabinet is carrying a heavy burden, considering the enormous work that the ministry has. But then, Nigeria doesn't rank well in infrastructure studies, about 24 in 50-something, compared to its peers on the continent. In fact, we're ranked by the last ranking behind Egypt. Nigeria infrastructure deficit is put at about 30% of its gross domestic product, the GDP, which falls short of the international benchmark of 70% set by the World Bank. With Nigeria's population growing at a rate of over 2.5% per year and an expected population to go to almost 400 million people by 2050, there are worries that the current infrastructure in the country is likely to be overwhelmed. The World Bank has projected that Nigeria will need to invest nothing less than $3 trillion to reduce its infrastructure deficit. Out of the almost 200 kilometers of roads in Nigeria, about 34,000 belongs to the federal government. But the new minister under the Bola Tinubu government believes much more can be done. He was a senator and a former governor of Ebonyi State, Engineer Dave Umahi. He joins us live here in our studio in Abuja. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister, for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing today?
It's okay.
Yeah.
And good evening to our viewers.
Yeah. How are you and your staff in the ministry? Are you better now?
We are good.
No locking them out again.
Oh, well, we are good, Shehu.
They were very unhappy that you locked them out. And some of them said that it was due to transportation issues. Did you see sense in what their agitations were over your actions?
That matter is behind us. We have sorted everything out. There's no problem again in Ministry of Works. We are good.
What measures have you put in place now?
Understanding. Yeah.
Even if they come late?
Understanding.
Some of them were saying, look, this is not a state government, this is ministry. Yeah. So they found that you were more of, your approach was military in nature, and that you were behaving like you were a governor of a ministry, and now you're a minister.
No, that's not the truth. The point is that the issue of coming late or not coming late is within the civil service rule. There is a time allowed in the civil service rule for workers to report to work. But it's understandable that, transportation problem and, hold up and where they're coming from. And so prior to that, I had a meeting with the directors. And I said to directors, we need to know when workers will be at work and when they leave to their homes. And so we reached an agreement that we could allow the latest worker to come by 9 o'clock. But it seems it was not transmitted to the rank and files of the workers. So I needed to address the workers at the gate. It was not merely locking them out. It wasn't neither here nor there, but I was happy that it happened so that, they know that they should be disciplined in the system. Without discipline, you can't achieve anything in life, whether in the private sector or in the public sector. Discipline is the key word.
They say we learn every day.
Yeah.
You've been a governor for 8 years, and now being a minister, there's a difference, isn't it?
Well, the civil service is the same. The state was deputy governor 4 years and governor 8 years. I interacted with civil servants in my state. It's the same. The same, civil service rule with slight modification at the federal level. So, but the character, the commitment, they're just the same. Yeah.
Lessons learned, isn't it?
By who?
I mean, on both sides. Don't come late. Don't lock us out.
Well, locking out if it's part of the disciplinary measures is excusable. But that is not the issue. The issue is that there is understanding and there is peace, and we are good.
Oh, fantastic. Now that we know, are you hoping maybe you could provide some transportation for them?
Oh, yeah. You see, the basic thing is understanding. They came, the union. Don't forget that they were singing, "You must go, you must go." So they had to come back.
Have you sang "You Must Stay"?
Yeah, the entire union came back to sound "You Must Stay" because, they had to understand me. Because I told them that I came to the ministry with two agendas. One is discipline. With discipline, we'll be able to achieve the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President. And then the welfare. With the welfare, the feelings of Mr. President for our people will be able to be achieved. So two programs, the discipline and the welfare of the workers. And so they were very happy. And of course, they mentioned that they needed some more buses. And I agreed because the federal level is a little bit different with a lot of bureaucracy. If there is no bus in our appropriation, then it's difficult to buy them a bus. But I'm making efforts because I love to see the people I'm working with happy. Just a day before that thing happened, on Tuesday, I had to give them my own personal savings for them to celebrate the Muslim festival that was on Monday. And then on Thursday, that misunderstanding came. But it was a healthy one. Even the tongue and teeth, sometimes disagree. Yeah.
Let's get to it. I mean, one thing that you have lamented also is the agitation. But now you've gotten President Tinubu's approval that Nigeria should consider constructing its roads with concrete. President Tinubu has given you approval for that, isn't it?
Well, Mr. President is not new to concrete roads. While he was governor, he could say to be one of the foundational, sponsors of concrete roads. Because he did understand, and of course he does understand still, that where you have very high water table and where you have, constant rainfall most of the time, that you need concrete. Concrete is very friendly with the rains. And so he did quite a number of concrete roads, and even another aspect of concrete road, which is interlocking. You go to VI, you see it. If anyone, goes by, just remove it, clean it up, fill it back with sharp sand, and then, So I should say that is his idea. And so I'm just carrying out, one of his ideas, which is very paramount in the integrity and sustainability of our, road sector.
Why the opposition on concrete road construction? Because you feel a bit upset that there are those people who are frustrating and agitating and opposing concrete road, which you have taken as a measure in which will make our roads last. You in fact said that most of our roads will last more than 50 years if we use concrete roads.
Well, the change is always opposed, So it's not everybody that has opposed it, but majority of the contractors opposed it. And they have been doing meetings and meetings and meetings, even accepted to do the concrete road, and then, needed to frustrate me with very high price. But I'm wiser than that. There's so much pressure on our naira. And the bitumen being imported into the country, I don't know whether it is adulterated or people get it adulterated. Right now, I'm testing all the asphalt works done for us. And if anyone falls short of the acceptable standard, the contractor will replace it. We have woken up to the realities of our rights. And that's the right that if we get taxpayers' money to pay a contractor to do a work for us, it is our right to ensure that the contractor does it well. So I believe strongly that they have their own agenda. Why they will prefer to do a road that will be failing while they're on the site compared to the concrete road. And I continue to tell them to go and see what high tech in Lagos is doing with Dangote. In that Apapa Osho, the expressway, the wharf, there's no any other, nature of road pavement that can be sustainable there. Every day you see over 500 loaded trucks from the wharf, static loads on that road. And no cracks, nothing. You go to the Lekki Deep Sea Port, You see the road they are constructing is also on reinforced concrete. So we have many examples. I did it in Ebonyi State, not even up to the standard of the federal government, but you have not seen, any failure. But where you also construct and the subgrade and the sub-base and base costs are not taken good care of, you are bound to have failure. And I recorded 2 failures in Ebonyi State while doing the construction. And it's because they use very wet material. And the material was such that on top, it appears dry, but underneath, it was wet. And because they were in a hurry, they did those 2 locations. And those 2 locations failed, but not up to 500 meters. And we have worked on it. And so I don't know why anybody should oppose that, because there are a lot of advantages in using our concrete road pavement.
So but the cost, the sustainability, the adaptability, and the issue of access and initial projection and contract design is one of those issues that have been raised by these contractors.
The cost,
yeah.
I will tell you about
Is it
cost.
cheaper?
Yeah, I will tell you about the cost. Most of our roads, these contractors, when they get the design to go and work, they have 2 layers of asphalt. The first layer is the binder cost, which is usually 60 mm. You have another, top layer, which is called the wearing cost, which is 40, millimeter. Now, when they get to site, they begin what is called the augmentation, and that's the contractor's games. They come back and tell you, hey, the soil is very bad. We have to do 2 binder courses or 3 binder courses. And I want to, name the numbers to you. And a binder course in asphalt right now, 60 millimeter, is not less than 25,000 per meter squared. And the wearing cost 40 millimeter is not less than 22,000 per meter squared. Put that coat and the primer together, and then you'll be getting, an average of 55,000 per meter squared. And that is the cost of, the asphalt. Now, if you are doing 2 layers of binder cost, then you'll be getting 75,000 per meter squared. Now, if you are doing 8 inches of concrete reinforced and you put it at 300,000 per meter squared, just multiply it by 0.2, which is the thickness of the concrete, and then you will be getting 600,000 per meter squared. So who is fooling who? If you are doing 2 plies of binder cost and the 1 ply of wearing cost, you are much more expensive than using reinforced concrete grade 40, to do the work. And the road is 20 mm. Very thick road.
So you mentioned the road that is being done by ITEC in Lagos,
yes.
in conjunction with Dangote,
yes.
As an example for those who live in that axis,
yes.
compared to the usual asphalt that Nigerians are used to. And perhaps, if you can give us an understanding, a normal asphalt in a normal environment, construction of an asphalt, how long can it last? How many years?
The design life shelf is 20 years.
For a concrete construction,
yes.
How long will it last?
50 years.
50 years.
Yes.
And that's the guarantee that way.
Oh, sure.
So in the next 50 years, any of Umahi's roads, we should come and hold you and say, Minister, your road that you gave us 50 years of guarantee.
That's the design.
That's how
it's not invented from me, but you see...
But does it affect the southeast, though? Because southeast terrain is another issue because of the terrain, clayish, and...
That's in Ebonyi. We have a lot of... All our land in Ebonyi is clay, and that's why... don't forget that I just, did the ring road, about 199 kilometers of ring road. I completed over 85% of that job before I left office. And it was funded by African Development Bank and by Islamic Bank, co-funded it. And I fought with the 2 funders for 1 year because they needed to do the normal asphalt. And I took them through all the projects done in Ebonyi State and even in Southeast, and asked them to show me the one that lasted beyond the tenure of the governor. Not because of their fault, but because of our situation. The clay soil is such that, it dances with every weather. When the sun is there, it will start, breaking, and when the rain is there, it will be expanded. And so I insisted. And I said, look, I cannot do a road that, before I leave office, it has failed, and this is a loan to the state, and then my children will be taxed, and my grandchildren will be taxed, and they will find no peace. I said, I must do the road on concrete. And some of the contractors that are now refusing to do this concrete, they were also part of because it was an international, bidded project. I can tell you CBC was part of it, CCC was part of it, and which other company, there were about 3 expatriate firms that participated alongside with 3 local contractors. They worked together in sections. I know it's a huge success. Go there and find if you get a pothole. So
that's the template you want us to use at the federal level?
It's not what I want us to use. There are a lot of advantages. I traveled from Abuja to Benin. I spent 14 hours. The contractors that are on these roads are still working and they have all failed. From Warri down to Port Harcourt, we spent trillions, but these roads have all failed. And they'll come and tell me, the flood came and carried it. But during the bidding process, there is, a section of the general, conditions of contract that says that when you're bidding for a contract, you have to go to site, take the drawing, take the geotechnical report, make yourself comfortable, and find out if there is any condition of the site that you will observe, which you will also insert into the technical and commercial bits that were not there. And so this big construction companies, why should they now construct the road on a floodplain? That is not acceptable. But I'm not holding them, other than a contractor. I will not mention the name. And I say to the contractor, you are still on site. The other one have completed and they are gone. The road has lasted 10 years. But should we be constructing roads that will last only 10 years? But it has failed. The president just released money for critical 17 critical points. And we're lucky that only 1 carriageway is gone. The second carriageway, we have to do something by, constructing decompile, or relief covers and raising the road so as to, sustain that road until Mr. President is able to begin gradual reconstruction of the entire East-West Road. And this is the truth.
What about the point that links to Port Harcourt? From the Port Harcourt Expressway that links more of the south and the southeast region.
Oh yeah, we have issues. We have 4 sections there. The first section is by CGC. 4th section is CGC, about 61 kilometers. And the second section is, I think, Arab Contractor, and the 3rd section, I think, RCC. And the last section is CCECC. Now, the first and the last sections are not done. But there is a big story about the first section. The contract was 34 billion, but it jacked up to 100 billion.
Why?
Well,
is it inflation or what? Or what's
it could be a combination of a number of factors, but it's not acceptable to me. The worst thing is that the entire road failed. The 51-kilometer constructed failed. And it failed because of wrong construction method by the contractor. And so I've tasked the contractor, we are redesigning, and we're going to use concrete, and he will take his responsibilities based on the failures we recorded. And the federal government will take their responsibilities based on the redesign. And the last section, CCECC, I beg them, let them, go ahead and mobilize. That's Port Harcourt to Aba. And they're doing that, and we are trying to look at the supplementary budget of 2023, if we can put money for them to go ahead. And so, and that will just, but RCC and Arab Contractor have done very well. They've completed theirs.
Let me take you to Lagos Ibadan Expressway. This is one of the most important expressway in Nigeria.
Yeah. And the most trafficked.
The most trafficked.
Yeah.
And now is one of the most hellish in terms of the congestion on that road. Every day, people spend man-hours in that traffic doing nothing but just staying in the vehicle and trapped there. Promise of November, December delivery of last year.
I don't think
promise of April, end of April.
I don't think you're right, because I was there last month.
Has anything changed? What end? What part? It depends on what part of it you were traveling on, and at what point.
In all honesty, I don't know where you're talking about traffic, on that stretch, Let's see if you're talking about the adjoining roads.
So that's what I'm asking. No, I'm not talking about the adjoining road.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I'm talking about where exactly did you travel on? Because I can tell you, I mean, I've applied that road for more than 10 years every day.
When last did you
Now,
visit there?
I visited a few months ago. So the point I'm making is...
Mine was last month.
Which part of it did you travel on?
You know, I went through all the projects in the Southwest. I did. I went through all the projects in South-South. I went through all the projects in Southeast. I went through all most of the projects in North Central, and then also part of Northwest. I'm yet to complete that of the northern part, you know. So in this location, we have the Julius Berger, and that Julius Berger is on the Lagos end. And
in what Lagos?
Yeah. And what was left there was not up to 500 meters, as at the time I went there. And that 500 meters was causing some, hold up. But not the kind of hold up you're talking about. And so that section by Julius Berger is been done 98% as at the time I visited.
But this is how many weeks ago you said?
That should be about 4 weeks back.
So you know the interesting thing about that corridor you mentioned?
Yeah.
The communities around that corridor, in the rush hours, either in the morning, in the evening, if you're not careful, if you're trapped there, you are in trouble.
No, let me
tell
you the problem. The problem, what you should be asking for is some interchanges, flyovers. When you have an expressway and you don't have a, service lane, then you come and they barge into the express, vehicles, at 90 degrees. And that's what may be causing the hold-up. Not because the road is bad. It was 98% done as at the time, I was there.
When will the old gamut of the road be delivered? We were promised end of April.
But we are talking about hold-up,
Yes, but
for the combination of
the reason why there's traffic on that road is because the road has not been completed.
No, that's not. I've just told you the traffic, program. No matter how beautiful a road is completed, and you have traffic that is, coming in between the moving, express, then you are bound to have hold-up.
What you said that Julius Berger has completed almost 90-something%.
Yeah, but these service lanes are not there. So it's not something you guarantee that, 98%, because they have some, median trade to do. But that has nothing to do with the traffic volume.
So when will this road be 100% delivered?
It will be delivered. Where we have a little bit challenges will be on the, Ogun State axis, because we need compensation to be paid. And that's where the Redeemed Christian Church, that's where they're having their program. So we have about 2 flyovers there. And the 2 flyovers, supposed to, take off traffic, those who are going to the camp. There is also, you move further, you see, a Muslim, camp, So that's what we're addressing. So it was with the governor of Ogun State, and then he promised to go, having visited there, he promised to pay the compensation so that they will get it completed, so those 2 flyovers. And then a little bit, I think about 2 or 3 kilometers, on the Ogun axis, by RCC.
So in your own estimation, when do you think that...
Let's give it November. In November. We may have, a little bit challenges on funding, but it's something I tend to, discuss with Mr. President, because the funding is coming from PIDF, program. That's a presidential initiative,
fund,
the funds that are recovered, from looters have been right now. We have a balance of our 18 billion on that axis
for the contractors.
Yeah, to pay. And the stringent condition is that you cannot take fund that is meant for one project and then to do the other one. So the completion will have to come from the initiative of Mr. President.
We should all be hoping by the end of November something drastic would have happened.
It's a beautiful, I must commend the 2, contractors. They have done a very beautiful job on that road.
All right. Let's take a breather, Governor Umahi. And when we come back, there is so much more. You'll be telling us how we will travel 4 hours from Lagos to Abuja in what we have proposed as a supersonic highway, the 4th Mainland Bridge in Lagos. How would this happen? The 2nd Niger Bridge. What about that one? We'll be talking about it, and tolling also of the federal road. These are some of the issues we're raising with Honorable Minister for Works, Dave Umahi, after this break. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us on the program. The Minister for Works, Dr. Dave Umahi, has been speaking with us on the program. So, I mean, if you are those who are living in some part of the country and you think that there's a need for attention of the federal government on the several kilometers of roads across this country, you can tweet at us and let us know what exactly is going on. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister, for your time on the program tonight.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you.
So, I mean, within the Lagos, Ogun, and Oyo State corridor, Lagos Abeokuta, did you visit that corridor?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
What was the feeling about?
Let me tell you what Mr. President Tinubu is doing about our road sector. It will interest you very highly. Mr. President inherited a total of 2,640 road projects, totaling 18,897 kilometers of roads. And the total cost of this project was 14 trillion. And the fundings from an NPC, from tax credit, from Sukuk, came to about 5.1 trillion. And so you have a funding gap of 6 trillion. 6 trillion, which means that there is no funding for 6 trillion. And don't forget that the highest we got on our appropriation is about 600 and something billion. Okay. Now, notwithstanding, we have so many other critical projects that needed attention. And that's what we have compiled, and it's a total of about 12,000 kilometers of roads and 24 mega bridges.
To be completed within what window?
Well, we are looking at 4 years.
Within the first 4 years. Within the 4 years.
Yeah, but let me commend Mr. President. He has not dropped any of these 18,000 kilometers inherited. He has not dropped any of the the contractors. But he has done a lot of intervention where there are road failures. Just few days ago, Mr. President approved 260 projects, intervention projects, totaling 217 billion all over the country. This is a result of the consensus of the public. When they send us text, we compile it and send our controllers to go and look at it. Then the inspection by the controllers of the 36 states and FCT, the motions of the National Assembly. So all these things came together, 260 projects, totaling 217 billion. Now, the president has approved that. Now, I just told you about the problems of the, East-West Road. The president has approved that intervention. The Shandam-Lafia Bridge collapsed just about 5 days ago. The president approved the intervention. The 2 bridges collapsed in Enugu State. The president approved the intervention. There's a section in Lokoja, Kanaja Road that nobody can pass.
Would this need federal FEC approval? All of these interventions that the president has given?
Yeah, when it is approved.
And appropriations?
Yes. But the first thing is for the president to give approval before sending it to appropriation, before sending it to... Are
there funds for these projects? That the approval the president, this intervention the president has approved?
That is the job of Mr. President. That is not my job. My job is to let him know.
Yeah.
Mr. President,
he gives you the money, and when he gives you the money, you go and get it done.
I will fight to make sure the money is properly utilized.
Are you worried? Yeah. I mean, you're an engineer, and yes. I would love to call you engineer for the sake of this, just to rein it in.
Yeah.
The fact is, maintenance culture.
Yeah.
In this country.
That's this intervention.
Because these interventions will not come if, if we have good maintenance culture.
Yes, Mr. President just approved appointed the board to FEMA. The chap in FEMA, the acting MD is doing fantastic work, and that is the issue because the failure of the road starts with a point, a needle point, and that's what you are trying to look at. That with the engineers of FEMA, the controllers of Federal Ministry of Works, that they are accountable so that these issues of, leaving these routes for a long time where a needle point develops to a pothole and from pothole to a borehole is no longer acceptable.
Do they have what it takes to be able to to amend, because in Lagos, this is what I've seen a few times, because as a media person, I work late and I'm going home late in the night, and you see that there is a Lagos State road maintenance.
Yes,
so they will shut down the road, they will put heavy lights on the road, and you will see when you're going to bed at night, you see a bad portion of the road. You wake up in the morning, you see that the roads.
Yeah, that is the idea. That's how it's supposed to be done.
Does FEMA in the different states of the federation, do they have what it takes to be able to mend and fix some of these roads?
The truth is that FEMA was carved out from Ministry of Works. It was a department in Ministry of Works, and FEMA is supposed to be for direct labor work. But most of the FEMA job has been given out to contractors. And what you are pointing out is exactly my policy, that while you're working on the roads, the people should not suffer. While you're working on the roads, they shouldn't be inconvenienced. And that is the practice outside this country. And that's the engineering practice. So we are going back to that. Presently, Mr. President has just approved the total, rescoping of the Mainland Bridge, the deck.
It was approved under the Buhari government, 6.3 billion.
Yes.
That was what FEC approved.
Yes.
Has that money been released?
That was a dangerous approval.
Why?
Because you see, each carriageway of the Mainland Bridge, each carriageway is 14 meters width. Okay? Which means that each carriageway is 2 standard carriageway. So we are dealing with 14 carriageway. What has happened is that in engineering design, there's what is called a dead load. And the asphalt is a dead load. And what that design, the bridge is meant to carry is 2 inches overlay asphalt. But over the years, in course of maintenance, when a place there, a portion of it is scratched, what will happen is that they will come and clean it up and put another asphalt on it. So we have asphalt thickness of between 4 inches and the 12 inches, And so if you are riding on that Mainland Bridge, you will see that you are on a super elevation. And that is very dangerous. It can cause overturning. And again, it's not designed to carry that dead load. So what we have done is that we called, 4 major contractors. And we called the Plycon that has the initial contract. And that is, the 6-point-something billion. And we asked the contractors. Meanwhile, the 6-point-something billion was to do the same thing, And it was about 20% of the entire work.
This dangerous proposal, and the people in your ministry, the ones who were proposing it?
The engineering, that's why, you put heads together to come up with a workable solution.
So you got into office and you saw that was bad?
No, I wasn't the one. I was going to do exactly what, was approved.
It was approved, the 6.3 billion proposal?
Yes, I was. In fact, the first visit, I approved it and I was chasing, the money. But hey, I had to go back to Lagos, to follow up, because we also have some structural issues under the deck. But there are not issues that will not be handled. There are not issues. The only thing is that we stop heavy vehicles from going through that bridge. Lighter vehicles are going. So the president has also approved money that will work under, the deck of the bridge. Now, when I went back, and I went back at night, and I went back with the same engineers, and we put heads together. One of them said to me, in fact, the engineer Kuti, Southwest Regional Director, he said, hey, we will be in trouble. The thickness of this asphalt, some places are, 10 cm, some places are 30 cm. And so we can't continue to do the same thing. It's dangerous for the, safety of the bridge. And so I had to now start looking at, how did I find out? When you see the walkway, the height of the walkway is very consistent. But you go to some places, because of this asphalt, you find out that the walkway is maybe about 10 cm left. You go to another place, find out the walkway is about 20 cm. Then that's an indication that, the bridge were differently overlaid. Yes.
And
even the first lady, when I met her, surprisingly, 2 days ago, she was talking about that bridge. And she technically mentioned this. I was very surprised. Which means that, the commuters, those that use that route, the bridge.
What about the integrity of the bridge?
No, it's
for Lagos.
I certify it's okay. But it's just that we cannot, go with heavy trucks.
I don't want to forget the Lagos Abeokuta.
Yeah.
Is there any possibility that anytime soon, any kind of intervention we go into that road?
Yeah, we see the Lagos.
Or there's no plan for it for now?
No. I have scoped it in the supplementary budget.
Okay.
Yeah, it's scoped in the supplementary budget. So
how much will it be costing?
I don't know, but first of all is to scope it and then to also put money there, and then we'll go back and then redesign it on concrete rigid pavement. Let me also tell you something. This concrete we are talking about and the asphalt.
So we can call you Mr. Concrete now.
No, it should be
because you have brought the concrete in.
No, the idea
initiative.
It's Mr. President that brought that idea.
So, but you are the man in the works.
I'm part of.
So, Mr. Concrete, Dave Umahi.
I'm part of the the
Please
team of the new
agenda. Yeah.
So let me finish with the Mainland bridge. So when we went back, we looked at these things and we said, look, the best way is to get a reputable contractor. And so 4 big contractors put it, and then the list was 21 billion. They have to remove everything, totaling about 23 kilometers, 11 point something each side, And then now the good aspect of it is that they are not going to totally inconvenience, Lagosians, and they are not going to get that bridge shut down. We are managing the traffic. We are going to walk in sections, and that's the beauty of it. And when we finish, Lagosians and Nigerians will be very happy with the bridge. Is that correct?
But
yeah,
it will cost some few more billions, more than the 6.3 billion that was initially
I've told
projected.
you the 6 is of a different scope.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. I'm just emphasizing the facts of the matter.
And now let's come to the problem of asphalt. Apart from the notice adulteration, where the asphalt, the bitumen come in, then we start hearing that you're putting bitumen modifier, bitumen enhancer. And I've asked these questions. In overseas, do you do all these things? The answer is no. Then we have to check the integrity of the bitumen being imported into the country. Or maybe the importers are good, but then when it comes, it's adulterated. Again, when I came into office in August, the cost of bitumen per ton was 576,000. But today, the cost of bitumen is 1 million. So the increase in asphalt work is growing in geometrical progression. And why that of concrete is arithmetical progression. And that is apart from the pressure it puts on our naira. And so there are a lot of advantages over asphalt works. We cannot wake up and be 100% good in maintenance. With concrete and minimal maintenance, we are good to go. Nigerians want good roads. I've not told you about the super highways that Mr. President...
The supersonic highway, right.
First is the Abuja, Abuja-Lagos, supersonic highway. Let me use the terms of the former governor of Cross River. And it's 460, kilometers. If you are doing 120 kilometers per hour on a very good road, you will be in Lagos if you leave Abuja in 4 hours. And it's under PPP.
It's going to be across the sea.
No. It's not going through the sea. Okay. It's going to go, across the Shagamu Ture. The tearing off. It's a road that tears off from the. When you're going to the east. That road that goes from from Ore going down to Benin. So it tears off from there. Okay, and then now takes you to Abuja. Okay, and so it is by Advanced Engineering Company, and it's PPP. So
how much would that cost?
If you look at each carriageway, because this carriageway is beyond the destiny. If you look at it as maybe 1.5 billion, so you multiply 3 billion by 460, so you begin to look at what.
So the private company is going to put its money.
The money, yes.
Federal government is going to put some money.
No. It's complete PPP.
Federal government is not putting any money.
No, not putting the money. They will.
But it's going to be told.
Yeah, they will told it. And I'm very happy Nigerians want their roads to be fixed and told.
How many roads will it be tolling? Will it be tolling Lagos Ibadan next?
Oh, sure. We already have 9 completed. I may not have all of it, 9 completed.
Second Niger Bridge, are you tolling it?
Yes, but it's it will be told, but it's not yet within our destiny. I'm sending it to FEC on Monday.
Okay.
For FEC to approve. There are 13 of such. But let me also tell you, very interesting, that we have the Lagos, Port Harcourt, Cross River Coastal Road. That is going to take off under this administration with a spot at Ogoja and a spot at Sokoto. Spot at Sokoto and spot at Ogoja. And it's going to be PPP. High Tech is looking at that project very seriously. They are going to bring in the fund. We also have Badagry to Abidjan. It's going to be PPP too. And we just completed from Kefi to Makurdi. It's funded by Exim Bank, China, and we are about tolling it. There is also another one that is about starting, and that is Makurdi to Obola for tonight. It's going to be also started, but I'm insisting it has to be done on concrete.
Okay,
so that's where we are.
So I mean, the concrete part, because I know Nigeria spends nothing less than $10 million US. About $10 million US spent on bitumen importation into the country. Meanwhile, Ondo, Ogun, Delta have abundance of bitumen. And another sad story of natural resource that Nigeria will have, then we have to go overseas and bring them into the country.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Now, number one, side by side, the bitumen importers, by the reason of they should go and develop these sites, and that is what we're insisting. And then the cement manufacturers should up their, some of them are running at about 40% capacity now. They will up their capacity. And when you up your capacity in terms of, market forces, you should be able to reduce price. And that's what you're saying. And when more people come into cement production, then there will be more competition. So price will also come down. So while the price of bitumen is going up, this one is coming down. And again, the Dangote refinery in Lagos, the byproduct of refinery is the bitumen. So we are going to accommodate that bitumen. What do? We are going to allow 2 inches overcoating of our concrete roads on asphalt. But you have to start enjoying your sleep before you start to snore. So meanwhile, it is pure concrete. And when this indigenous production come on site, then we now put this thing just to make the road you can sleep and drive, but it's not encouraging, so you shouldn't sleep and drive.
So would you be in your time in office encouraging some kind of borrowing? Because you say we have almost 6 trillion of deficit for the almost 15 trillion or so of the burden of road projects that this government has inherited. Are you considering some kind of borrowing?
I'm not a financial expert. I'm an engineer, administrator, and so I will do my own work, and then the financial experts will do their own work. But Mr. President has also asked me the idea about this funding. I've given Mr. President, some of my ideas, about the funding, and I will not disclose it to you.
But in your own view, what do you think is a sustainable model for funding infrastructure in Nigeria?
It's PPP, but people must have confidence in the sustainability of the roads when it's constructed. And so when some of this PPP, we use concrete to do it. And so it's going to be less expensive at the end of the day, even in times of construction, because when you award this contract, in fact, there are some contracts that's been awarded, not yet mobilized, but the price of that contract, has already gone up. And I say, I will not sign. I will not sign. Let us agree from day one that if you want to do asphalt, then you will not exhaust, the beyond the 5% variation on price that's allowed in the contract. And you will also guarantee through insurance company that this road will last at least 15 years. And that's the condition to do, asphalt. If you are doing concrete, so that you don't sabotage me, the design lifespan of concrete is 50 years. So you don't come and say, the minister say we must do, concrete. And you go and do a bad job, and the job fails. And then you now turn around to blame, so that we go back to asphalt. So I wouldn't allow that.
Quickly, we need to close now. The Lagos-Abuja Super Highway, when is it likely to commence?
We are still in the process. We're still in the process, but I think financial closure will happen in November.
What is the estimated time of delivery of that? How many years will it take to construct?
I think it took about 4 years.
Okay.
4 years.
All right. You've resigned as a senator, isn't it? I assume so. That's natural, isn't it?
Why do you ask?
Because you're a minister now.
Did you read the Constitution?
I read it. I know. That's what I'm asking you.
What did the Constitution say?
So you can't be in 2 offices at the same time?
You didn't read the Constitution.
So what's your own interpretation, sir?
The Constitution and the Supreme Court decision is that when you're holding an office and you got sworn in that office, okay, and then you now get sworn in another office, it is assumed that you have resigned your other office.
It's by assumption.
It's not an assumption, it's law. It's not an assumption.
So that's what I'm saying, that automatically you did not resign, but by force of law, you are out of...
The important thing is that I'm not occupying 2 offices.
But you are not also receiving any emolument for as a former governor, are you?
No.
You suspended that too?
Oh, sure.
All right. So for the people, a lot of people are very excited that someone from the Southeast got a very juicy ministerial position.
For the first time.
For the first time in this. What are you telling the people of the Southeast who are watching you right now?
Well, first and foremost is to be very grateful to God Almighty and be very appreciative of Mr. President for the confidence. And I want to assure God Almighty and Mr. President that the trust will never be betrayed by me. Every time I pray, I say, God, it has to be you first, and because God represents the people and because Mr. President represents the people. So these 2 people, God Almighty and the President, are in the forefront of my prayers every day so that I'll be able to achieve, why they brought me, to do this work. And to the Southeast people, I want them to give unwavering support. Even our brother, His Excellency P2B, I think he's distracting Southeast by taking the president to court. It's a distraction. I think Southeast should be very happy for what Mr. President is doing for them. When was it that, 2 bridges collapsed in Southeast and within 24 hours, Mr. President gave approval and released money? When was it that the Onisha or Owerri Road, 2 locations got down and Mr. President released money, to go and do that? And so this is the president that is president of the entire country. And so I believe that what you are looking upstairs and you got it, downstate, you should be grateful to God.
All right.
So I want them to be grateful to Mr. President and know that their light, the light of the entire Nigeria has come and it is shining.
And it's Bola Tinubu for you.
Oh, sure.
Of
course, you can also agree with me about that. His tips, you can see he's a divine president. He's the
president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Divine.
But your own adjective of it is subjective. But
No. Every leader comes by God.
Thank you so much indeed. Governor Dave Umahi, Minister of Works. Thank you so much indeed for your time tonight.
Thank you.
But that's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Wakimada. I'll see you on Sunday. Tomorrow is Saturday, 8 p.m. Bye-bye.
Thank you.